Okay, in this segment we're going to go through the process of creating a map in fGIS. You can just double click on your fGIS icon on the desktop screen to open the program. Once you do so, you should be prompted to open an existing project or create a new one. We're going to create a new one, and we're going to create it in the same Empire folder where we downloaded our imagery, and I'm just going to call this project Empire as well, and the file extension will be a TTKGP, and I'll hit open. Okay, let me adjust the window. Okay, now at this point we just got a blank map screen, and we're going to want to import the imagery layers that we had just downloaded. Okay, the easiest way to do that is to take your mouse and to left click on the plus button on the toolbar. That's the add layer. If you drag your mouse over it, you'll see the little link pop up below it. So we're going to click on that. We're going to open up the Empire folder. You can bring these in one at a time, or if you hold Control on the keyboard, you can select one layer and then hold Control and select the other, and you can hit open. Okay, as you can see, it brings both of these layers in. You can toggle them off simply by clicking on the check mark next to the in the box next to the image layer. You can also rearrange the order on these. If you want one displayed on top or below one, you can just drag them like that. That'll change the order. Okay, some other features here. This is the zoom to full extent. This will zoom you out so that all the layers fit on the screen. This is a fixed zoom out. This is a fixed zoom in. Okay, works. Fixed zoom out just zooms you out. Okay, this is zoom to previous extent, which can be useful. Alright, this next one is the active zoom tool. If you click on this, it allows you to come on the screen, take your mouse, left click and drag, alright, but without letting go of the mouse, and then whenever you've got the area in question, you can let go and it will zoom you into whatever's inside that box. Okay, there's also a pan tool you can click on. This will allow you to drag the imagery right, left, up, or down just by left clicking and dragging on the screen. Okay, the next thing you should know about is the measure tool. This will allow you to get quick and dirty areas and distances. If you click on that, maybe this little plantation right here, you can come down on the screen, take your mouse, left click on the corners. Okay, whenever you want to snap it shut, just double click right here. It'll give you the area enclosed, the length, perimeter, that kind of thing. This is also useful. You can click off of it when you're done. This is also useful if you just want to get a distance. Maybe you want to know the length of the back line. You could just, whoops. I'm going to turn it off and then I'll turn it back on. Okay, there we go. Alright, double click, 1301.51 feet. Okay, so I think you get the idea of that. Now, this next portion is, what if we want to go in and actually create a new layer to overlay on top of this that's going to, for lack of a better term, that's going to stick, so that we can manipulate that later and maybe copy it over onto our handheld data recorder. Alright, the way we create a new layer is we get a map, come down to new layer, and if we want acres calculated, we're going to need to choose a polygon layer. Okay, it'll ask us where do we want to save this. The format of this new layer is going to be a shapefile, and I'm going to call it boundary. And notice again that I'm going to save it inside the Empire folder. I'll hit save. Now at this point you'll see the Shapefile field manager. You may need to expand this window so you can see everything that I'm seeing right now. And just click on the edge of the image you see, or the window. You'll see how the mouse changes. Left click and drag. Okay, I'm going to choose the first available field, and I'm going to hit use selected field list. This will add the boundary shape to the very top layer. Okay, at this point I'm also in edit mode, as you can see by the red band around the screen. So I'm going to choose the new shape tool from the toolbar, and I'll just go in, I'll click, click, click. Okay, if you happen to make a mistake, you can go back to the last node that you selected and you can click it again and it will get rid of it. So it's a quick way to do an edit if you make a boo-boo. Okay, alright, now once you're ready to close in this polygon, you can simply double click on that last node, or you can right click and choose close shape. Okay, at this point it'll change your icon symbol to a little hand, and you can click on there and it'll display the acreage. Okay, you may want to go in after this is done, and you may not like the dark gray shading, so I'm going to double click on the boundary layer in the table of contents. I'm going to change the pattern to transparent, and I'm going to go over to the outline tab, and I'm going to change the color of the outline to something that's going to show up a little better, maybe yellow, and I'll bump up the line width so it'll stand out a little more. Okay, you can hit apply right here, and you can get an idea of what it's going to look like on the map. Now, if you want other than transparent, maybe you want a certain crosshatch pattern, you can come down in the list right here, and you can choose different patterns, and you can see how it'll look on the screen right here. And if you want to keep those, just hit apply and then hit OK. Okay, and you can see what we've got. If you wanted to add a label on this, maybe with the acres, it's important to know first, if you right click and hit show shapefile table, well, we're in edit mode. Okay, so let me get out of editing first. I'm going to go to edit, stop editing, and I'm going to save my edits, and that saved this particular shapefile. Okay, at this point I can right click and hit show shapefile table, and here's my acreage in the polygon shapefile, boundary shapefile table. Okay, if I want to add acres as a label, double click on the boundary again. I'm going to go to label, and I'm going to tell fGIS to apply a label using the acres field, and this is the way it's going to look. If you want to change the colors or anything, you can go in there and monkey around with this stuff and change the way things are going to look. It's probably better looking with the yellow, so I'll go back to that. I'll hit apply, and then I'll hit OK, and you'll see the acreage displayed as a label. Okay, next thing, you may want to zoom, so you can go to zoom to scale, and if you'll notice there's some preset scales in here. 1 to 7920, that's the equivalent of 1 inch equals 10 chains. If you were to take 10 chains is equal to 660 feet, multiply that by 12 inches, you'll get 7920. And that's what we mean here. 1 inch equals 7,920 inches. 1 to 15,840 is the equivalent of 1 to 20 chains. Okay, so if I click on that, it'll make a little bit of a difference right there. And last thing you may want to do is, if you want to print a map of this, you can go to map, come down to print map. It'll bring up a little window like this that will allow you to put in a title, and maybe I'll type in the Empire Tract. Okay, subtitle, I forget, maybe it was 39 acres. Okay, and if you want, notice that the scale is already set to output to 7920. Now, if you want to change that to something else, you can just double click in here. Maybe if you want to change that to 1 to 20 chains, 1 to 15,840, just hit refresh. It will make the change. Okay, so when you're happy with that, you can just hit print, and it will send it to your printer. Alright, I'm just going to cancel out here, but that's a pretty simple approach to creating a map.